you seen the new guys kind of fitting into the mix?
Man, it's been awesome. I mean, the guys that we number one, the guys we brought into the room, since obviously spring ball, they've been a great addition to the program. They came from programs; they're really good players. We felt like we did a really good job with our recruiting staff, and just trying to be able to find the right guys that can come here and chase what we're wanting them to chase and do it the way we want it to get done. And I think every single guy that's came in this room so far has been able to do that for us.
Especially the tackle position. Is that a position where you need maybe if you're going into the portal, not maybe get guys on the come up, but get guys who are established and know what you need to do?
Yeah, we're going to make the best decision that's going to allow us to play the best defense possible for us. Yeah, we're chasing a championship here. That's kind of what we owe these players and what we said yes to. And so the players that we brought into this program, we feel like it's going to give us a chance to be able to do that for us.
Is it good to have Ben Summerlin back?
Yes, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, just getting him, he was here in the spring. I was excited for him because he didn't go through spring, but I just love his process. Since the first time I met this kid, I mean, this guy, in terms of just his attention to detail, learning the defense, how important football is to him. I mean, it is what I thought he was going to be, which he's going to come on the field and work hard every single day. So.
Jonathan said that the first scrimmage kind of showed the defense a little bit ahead of the offense. I guess what you see from your group in that first line setting?
I thought number one is I came out encouraged that we got a bunch of guys there that can help us this season. And usually, like, we're week 2, week 3, usually this time of day, camp. Usually there's a little bit of separation that's going on with the room, and right now, man, I can't tell you who those guys are that's going to be able to be on the field that first play of the game right now. We got another scrimmage. We're working up to that second scrimmage this Saturday. Every single day, these guys has been good in terms of these guys know that everybody in the room, they're looking at each other, encouraging each other, but at the same time competing against each other to be able to earn their roles.
And Vince Summer, just kind of go back to him, when you start crashing into people again for the first time in a while, I guess, how do you, is there a little bit of a lead-up time to that?
No, I don't think the crashing is per se. I think the speed of the game is probably more of the adjustment than the physical part of the game. Just not being able to line up and play full-speed football for a long time. He's going to know where to go. He's going to know what his job is, like the rest of the guys in the room. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that room. Even if, just from spring to now, before they put the pads on, there's still going to be a little bit of that transition, be able to figure out the speed of the game. And so, that kid, I think he's been running through walls since he was 2 years old, I think.
Obviously, you'd like all your guys to be game ready, but what's sort of, I guess, the minimum that you could go into a game, D-tackle wise, I'm saying, and be like, I need to have X amount of number I can count on and to feel good about going into what's sort of that number?
I don't necessarily come into to a game with a number. I just go in with the amount of guys that I can feel we can win with. And whatever that number is, I think that's awesome. And right now here, we got Dow's, Daquan, we got Rue's a great addition. We got Maverick Hansen has been playing really good football this camp. Alex is playing really good football right now. We got Jalen Satchel, who's been playing really good football. We got Ben Roberts, who came in. Those are guys here. And then we got Ben Nelson that continues to get better every single day. And so right now, if the game was starting now, I wouldn't know who would play, but that's a good problem, not necessarily in a bad way. I think there's any one of those guys right now can help us win football games.
You mentioned Maverick. From a leadership standpoint, what have you seen from him being the guy who's been here for 6 years now?
Yeah, you can see the maturity over the years. Mav is a Spartan dog through and through. This place is important to him. Winning games is important to him. Been part of some great teams here. Been one of the few guys, the older guys that's been here during those times. In terms of just the process, right, what it takes, and it's not a secret. I think everybody says the same thing, but he acts it out. The way he comes, to meetings in the morning, the way he takes notes, the way he pays attention to the details of the defense, I think it rubs off. He does a great job with our guys, our younger guys that are coming through, and really the rest of the older guys, and not necessarily just in the room, just around the area. Going fishing, and he's the guy to be able to go do that. Took some guys to the gun range and trying to experience a little bit of that. So, and I think that's a wholesale experience that our guys coming from all different areas that come here, and Mav gives them the whole Michigan experience here. So, in all aspects, on the field, off the field, Mav is incredible.
Did you go with?
What's that? He invited. We got an invitation. I didn't get a chance to, so we haven't had much time. Summer was a little bit busier than normal for us, trying to get the family up here and get them settled.
with Jalen moving into your room now, what makes that a better, Thompson, what makes that a better fit for him at that position? Just how's he progressing this game?
I don't know if it's necessarily a better fit. We just know he's a really good football player. And at the end of the camp here, we want to be able to find the best 11 we can put on the field. And we felt like that was an opportunity to be able to figure out to see if that was the place where we can get our best 11 on the field. So he's had a great camp so far. I think as camp goes on, he continues to get better in terms of just learning. I mean, everybody's learning on pretty much new defense now. Spring, they've learned it here, but I think they're adding the details in terms of what it takes to be good in this defense, and I think he's done that.
Going back to Dallas, how has you been playing with the added weight? Is that something that you felt was really kind of necessary for him to play inside?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, seeing him move around in the spring and what he weighed at, obviously we want him as big and as quick and as explosive as possible, and then just trying to find that balance with our nutrition staff. Our strength staff is elite in terms of just trying to get us that range in terms of where we can possibly get him. They'll tell us, hey, he can't weigh more than this, or else he's going to start going through, and we keep testing the limits, and he's done an incredible job just keeping his weight up throughout this whole camp, and he's playing good football. He's carrying it well, so we're happy where he's at.
You mentioned what it takes to be good in this defense as opposed to others. What is that?
What's that?
What does it take to be good in this defense as opposed to some others?
Well, I don't know necessarily like just our expectation of things, and I don't know if that's any different than any other defense. If you know what you're supposed to do, know where you're supposed to go in there full speed with everything, with all the details that comes with it, it's going to make you, it's going to help you play good defense when all 11 are on the same page. So that's the task here right now in fall camp, is getting those guys on the field at the same time, playing fast, knowing where they're supposed to be going full speed, and then knowing the details of what happens after that, and then playing off of each other. And
What's the hardest aspect of that? Which of those is hardest to achieve?
I think I would say probably just playing together and the camaraderie. Obviously, we're a new staff here coming in. We came in the spring. We got some added players that's coming into this. We got some players that's been here that's doing it. So all those things coming together, the more time we get to spend together, the more time we get to know each other, and not necessarily just on the football field. It's just getting an opportunity to kind of trust each other, trust the coaches, player to player, player to coach, coach to player, like all those different aspects to be able to know that, hey, everything we're talking about, kind of pushes us in that direction to where we can trust each other and play hard for each other.
With Chad, I mean, now that you guys are deep into camp, how has that maybe been, what have been maybe the benefits of having, I guess you basically focus on three and him focus on one spot there on that line?
Well, number one is I think whenever you have two front coaches that are pretty good in what they do, I think that's always going to add a lot of value. Coach Welch has done a great job in his career. I mean, we've been able to go back and forth in terms of what we know about this position and what we know personnel-wise, and be able to help this group develop, because we're really the front, in terms of, so now obviously he coaches a position that do some things a little bit differently than we do, but we all want the same results. It's helped us here because we've been able to focus on certain techniques that maybe he sees a little bit more than we do with the inside guys, so we've been able to separate some groups. So the amount of time we get to spend, number one, individual players and in the individual techniques has added a lot of value to our defense.
What are those conversations like when you're talking with Coach Will about things you're looking for? This guy I think could be in your room as opposed to being in mine.
Well, those conversations is like I said, it goes back to trying to get the best 11 on the football field, and we feel like, hey, if somebody's really good at one position or whatnot, whatever it is, we always feel like those conversations, not necessarily just between us, it's personnel-wise, between as a defense. Coach Rossi comes in and say, hey, this guy can do a really good job. Maybe he can do a little bit better at this position, or hey, maybe this guy behind this guy's being able to add value if we would get him on the field a little bit more. What's the best way to get him on the field? So those conversations usually happen organically because we just see guys on the field make plays, and as camp goes on, as he continues to make plays, we have to have those conversations.
When you have this close of a battle for some of those jobs and roles, how critical is Saturday in terms of defining those, or is that a spot where you can really go all the way up to game one and kind of jostle?
Yeah, Saturday's gonna be pretty important in terms of what we need. Some of the, kind of cement some things going into the season. But as the season goes on, The same forward that plays the first game of the season may not be the same forward that plays the second game, third game, or the end of the year. So those are always moving parts in terms of this as the season goes on. So the scrimmage is going to be important in terms of, hey, guys, defining a little bit of roles, but those roles are just temporary to the first game of the season. Now, the rest of it depends on who does well, who doesn't do well, personnel-wise. Maybe this team does a little bit something different that this guy may have a little bit better value on the field because of what the offense does for us. So those personnel decisions are always moving.
Coach Wozniak was talking about Mike Schonbeeler being a good-looking freshman. What did you see from him, and what did you like about him when you were recruiting?
Yeah. So one thing we liked about him is his ability to play on the other sideline of scrimmage. I think he did that a bunch in high school. I think he was really disruptive in high school. And obviously, I think in order to be able to do that, you got to be explosive, you got to be able to change direction, and you got to have some strength to you. And I think he possessed all those things coming out of high school. Now, since he's been with us here, yeah, I think he's shown all that he can do all that here at this level. So we're happy to have him. He's having a really, really good camp, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to help us here in the future.
Hunnigan was a guy that flashed a little bit in the spring game when we were able to see. What type of progress has he made from spring to now doing it?
Oh, I mean, a lot of
inside-out versatility as well.
Yeah, I mean, Q has done a great job getting better. I mean, he's a different player from spring. Now he had a good spring, but now he made a good summer with the strength staff, and then now with fall camp, he's even taking more steps in terms of his ability to play football. So he has ability to play anywhere along the defensive line, and that's not necessarily ability. It's just he learns really, really well. He studies the game really, really well. He knows all the forward, what's happening up front. So yeah, we're happy that he can add some versatility to the front.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.